my first job in the Air Force was bomb disposal technician. And just the training for that, the U.S. Navy runs the school. The actual term for it is explosive ordnance disposal. We use EOD as shorthand for that. And but just the training for that, there are all kinds of specialized tools. You have to learn all the chemical backgrounds of explosives, known explosives. You essentially learn how to make your own explosives and all the elements associated with that. You become a metallurgic engineer, expert, physics, and that's not even the part that gets you into the military bombs and mortars and artillery rounds, the conventional stuff. And then there's a chemical warfare side to it and biological warfare side to it. And then there's a whole section where you spend months learning every design of every known nuclear weapon. And about all I could say about that is for the American ones, the scientists that designed that particular bomb or missile warhead are the ones that they do a video of them that teaches you how it was designed, how it was put together, and then how to take it apart and how it works and everything. And from the actual men that did it. So you still have a lot of time in classrooms listening to very boring sounding people talking about very interesting things. And then there's another section which is really even more interesting than that, and that is the improvised explosive device training, which is what most people, when they hear the term EOD or bomb disposal in the military, they think about the IEDs, improvised explosive devices that we faced, especially in Iraq and Afghanistan.
That's amazing. It's really, really interesting.
To this day, I rose up through the enlisted ranks to become a staff sergeant. It's E5, so it's like the second non-commissioned officer rank in the Air Force. I was a sergeant and a staff sergeant. So I had full responsibility for a team, nobody ever questioned me. And I was only like 22 years old, 21 years old. So to this day, I think that's still probably the best job that I ever had. But I got to do some amazing things. I later went to officer training and jet navigator training, flying training, and became a jet navigator on air refueling aircraft. The first jets that we built were called the KC-135A. You still hear about KC-135s because we re-engined them and put electronics on them and all that, kept flying, and they're still flying today. But the ones I flew on were the original models, I was born in 1961, and most of those airplanes, they started building them in 56 and went up through 63 or so. Maybe some in 64 and 65. So they were built all around. But that's a fascinating mission too, because, in those days, the navigator position did hand navigator logs, just like Christopher Columbus did on the ships that they sailed across, keeping navigator logs, and use the sun and the moon and the stars, doing celestial navigation, except you're on a jet that's doing 450 knots across the ocean. So, and it was all done by hand using a special sextant. It was amazing. Jet aircraft. That was another fascinating thing. How we became increasingly more computerized as GPS came online and better navigation computers came online and those kind of things. But we still, even the advanced aircraft, like the B-2 bomber, which I haven't flown in, but the advanced aircraft like the B-2 bomber, it doesn't have a navigator position in it. They took the last bomber, U.S. bomber that had navigators in it was in the B-1 bomber. After I was in tankers. But that airplane still uses what's called a star tracker system, because you can't just rely solely on GPS, because, the enemy tries to jam it and all kinds of things. You have to have really precise navigation. So we still use the planets and the moon and the sun and the stars to navigate. It's just some highly advanced systems.